Hello student, I welcome you all in online lecture series. I am Dr. Ganesh Mogal, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, KTHM College, Nasik. From nuclear physics, we are discussing about the basic properties of a nucleus. Friends, in this lecture, we have to see what is a mass defect, what is a binding energy, and what is binding energy curve. So let's begin. Friends, in previous lecture, we discussed about the classification of a nuclei. That is, what is isotopes? The element which have same atomic number but different mass number are isotopes. Then what is isotons? The element which have same neutron number but a different proton number or a different atomic number is known as a isoton. Then what is isobar? The element which have same mass number but a different proton number are isobars. And fourth is, what is isomers? The element which have same atomic number and same mass number are isomers. All these we discuss in a previous lecture. Friends, in this lecture we have to see what are the different basic properties of a nucleus, and from these basic properties, in this lecture we have to see what is a mass defect, what is a binding energy and binding energy curve. After attending this lecture, student will be understand about basic properties of a nucleus, that is a mass defect, binding energy and binding energy curve. So mass defect, we know that there is a difference between sum of masses of a constituent nucleons of a nucleus and the actual mass of a nucleus. So the difference between the sum of constituent mass of a nucleons and actual mass of a nucleus is a mass defect. We can find the sum of a masses of a constituent nucleon, that is Z MP plus A minus Z Mn, where we can say that Z is a atomic number, MP is a mass of a proton, A minus Z is the neutron number, and Mn is mass of a neutron. This sum is masses of the constituent nucleons, and capital M, that is minus capital M, this capital M represent the actual mass of a nucleus, and this represent mass defect. Now what is the binding energy? The energy required to break the nucleons in the constituent nucleus in a constituent nucleons is known as a binding energy, or we can say that energy required to bind the nucleons in a nucleus is the binding energy. We know that the atom consists of the positive charge protons and chargeless neutron which are present in a nucleus, and these are the nucleons, and energy required to bind this nucleon in a nucleus is the binding energy, or simply energy required to break the nucleons from nucleus is the binding energy. Here, according to Einstein energy mass relation, we know that energy is equal to m into c square, where m represent mass and c is velocity of light, and we know that velocity of light is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. This can be represent or write in terms of the binding energy. So, binding energy is equal to delta m. Delta m is a mass defect into c square. C is the velocity of light. So, this can be written as binding energy is equal to delta m. Delta m is a mass defect, and we know that mass defect is the difference between the mass of a constituent nucleons and a actual mass of a nucleus, that is ZMP plus A minus Z Mn minus M into C square. So, this is in a joule. Now, we can represent the binding energy in a mega electron volt. To represent binding energy in mega electron volt, we multiply above equation by 931. So, binding energy is equal to ZMP plus A minus Z Mn minus M. This is the mass defect into 931, which is in a mega electron volt. High binding energy, greater nuclear stability. If the binding energy of the element is high, it indicates that the nucleus is stable, or we can say that high binding energy, greater nuclear stability. Now, we have to see the binding energy curve. Here, binding energy curve is a graph of binding energy per nucleon versus mass number. Binding energy per nucleon means binding energy divided by mass number. So, it represent along y-axis and mass number is represent along x-axis. Here, from this graph, we can say that the element which have mass number up to 40 have unstable nuclei. The element which have mass number is in between 40 to 120 have stable nuclei, and the element which have mass number greater than 120 having unstable nuclei. From this graph, we can say that up to mass number 20, the binding energy is rapidly increases. Here, there are some peaks for hydrogen, that is H2, helium, that is He, oxygen and carbon. For hydrogen, the binding energy per nucleon is 1.1 mega electron volt. So, this represent the small binding energy. When the binding energy per nucleon is small, the nuclei are unstable nuclei. Okay. So, binding energy per nucleon is rapidly increases up to mass number 20. After that, after mass number 20, the binding energy per nucleon is gradually increases, and it is maximum for the iron Fe. When binding energy per nucleon is maximum, it indicates that the nucleus of iron is more stable. After that, after the Fe56, the binding energy per nucleon is decreases, and the average binding energy per nucleon is 8.5 mega electron volt. Here, if we consider uranium 238, then the uranium is unstable. Uranium have unstable nuclei, okay, and the binding energy per nucleon for uranium is 7.6 mega electron volt. Now we have to see the features of this binding energy curve. So first features, binding energy per nucleon is small for smaller nuclei. For example, if we consider the case of hydrogen, the binding energy per nucleon is 1.1 mega electron volt. So binding energy per nucleon is small for smaller nuclei. Then the binding energy per nucleon increases rapidly for nuclei up to mass number 20. Okay, the binding energy per nucleon is rapidly increases up to mass number 20. This is the second features of a binding energy curve. Then in between the curve, there are some peaks corresponding to helium 2, 4, then carbon and oxygen, or we observe there are some peaks in a binding energy curve for hydrogen, helium, carbon and oxygen. Then the peak indicate that these nuclei are more stable than their neighbors nuclei. After mass number 20, the curve rises gradually and reaches to the maximum value at mass number 55. Okay, for iron Fe56, the maximum value of binding energy per nucleon is 8.79 mega electron volt. This indicates that iron is more stable. For the mass number in between 40 to 120, binding energy curve is more or less flat, and the average value of binding energy for a nucleon in between the mass number 40 to 120 is 8.5 mega electron volt. Okay, here for mass number 56, the binding energy per nucleon is 8.79 mega electron volt for iron. Okay, binding energy per nucleon in between mass number 40 to 120 is 8.5 mega electron volt, or it is the average binding energy per nucleon. Eventually, the nuclei of intermediate mass, that is mass number is equal to 40 to mass number it is equal to 100, are more stable. When the element or nuclei are more stable, we require large energy to break the nucleons from the nucleus, or to separate the nucleons from nucleus. Okay, so since the large amount of energy must be required to liberate each of their nucleons. After mass number 120, the binding energy per nucleon decreases and drop to 7.6 mega electron volt for uranium 235, or we can say that uranium 238. The tendency of any nuclear charge is for resulting nucleus is lies in this region, that is mass number 40 and mass number 120, because then the stability is greatest. Okay. So, the binding energy per nucleon is decreases and drop to 7.6 mega electron volt for uranium 235, and the region in between mass number 40 to mass number 120 is flat, and the average binding energy per nucleon is 8.5 mega electron volt. Now, here if we observe that the binding energy, the nucleon which have mass number less than 40 have unstable nuclei, or these nucleus are, or the it is unstable. If we consider the mass number greater than 120, this also have unstable nuclei, or we can say that the large amount of energy is liberated if heavier nuclei of some elements are split into the lighter nuclei. So, when the heavier nuclei which mass number is greater than 100, so when heavier nuclei is split into the lighter nuclei, okay, and this process is known as a nuclear fission process. Okay. The heavier nuclei have unstable nuclei. Okay. Heavier nuclei have unstable nucleus, and so that this heavier nucleus is split into the lighter nuclei. Okay, or we can say that it is a break into the fission fragment, and the large amount of energy is released. So, we can represent this like this. This represent the heavier nuclei, okay, and which is split into the lighter nuclei, and this process is known as a nuclear fission process, and the large amount of energy is released. If we consider the example of uranium, uranium 238, and this uranium have unstable nuclei, and this uranium can be break into the fission fragment or into the lighter nuclei, and the large amount of energy is released in this process, and the process is a nuclear fission process. Now, if we consider the lighter nuclei which having mass number less than 40, this lighter nuclei can be fused together. When the lighter nuclei are fused together, we get the heavier nuclei. When we get heavier nuclei, again the large amount of energy is released, and the process is known as a nuclear fission process. Okay. So, in between mass number 40 to mass number 100 or 120, the binding energy per nucleon is large. It indicates that the nucleus is stable. Okay, but when we consider the mass number less than 40, this element have unstable nuclei, or when mass number is greater than 100 or 120, the element have unstable nuclei. When the heavier nuclei is a break into the lighter nuclei and the large amount of energy is released, we get the stable nuclei. Or in case of the lighter nuclei, when the lighter nuclei are fused together to form the heavier nuclei, then we get again stable nucleus, and the process is the nuclear fission process. Thus, in the both the process, that is a nuclear fission, fission of a heavy nucleus and nuclear fusion of a lighter nuclei, the energy is liberated. Both the process indeed occur under proper condition. So, this is occur under the proper condition. Now, you have some assignment. First, define mass defect, then define binding energy, explain the relation between the binding energy and mass defect, how the binding energy per nucleon is calculated, and fourth question is a sketch the binding energy curve and outline the features of the binding energy curve. Now, send this assignment on Google Classroom. So, in this lecture, we discuss what is mass defect, the difference between mass of a constituent nucleons and actual mass of a nucleus is known as a mass defect. We know that the nucleus consists of the positive charge protons and chargeless neutrons. So, these are the constituent of a nucleus or nucleons. So, that mass defect delta m, it is equal to Z mp plus a minus Z mn minus capital M, where Z is atomic number, mp is the mass of a proton, a minus Z represent the number of neutron, and mn represent mass of a neutron. Capital M represent actual mass of a nucleus. So, this difference, that is a mass of a constituent nucleons and actual mass of a nucleus, is a mass defect. Now, binding energy, the energy required to separate the nucleons from nucleus is known as a binding energy, or we can say that the energy required to bind the nucleon in a nucleus is the binding energy. According to Einstein energy mass relation, we can say that E is equal to m into c square. So, we can represent binding energy, it is delta m into c square. Again, delta m is a Z mp plus a minus Z, a minus Z into mn minus capital M into c square. So, this is a formula which is used to calculate the binding energy, and binding energy per nucleon can be also represented in terms of the mega electron volt, and it is delta M into 931 mega electron volt. Okay. So, this is the related to binding energy. Now in a binding energy curve, the binding energy curve is a graph of binding energy per nucleon versus mass number. If we consider the features of this binding energy curve, if mass number, the element which have mass number less than 40 have unstable nuclei. The element which have mass number is in between 40 to 120 have stable nuclei, and the element which have mass number greater than 120 have again unstable nuclei. The binding energy per nucleon is rapidly increases up to mass number 20, and we observe some peaks in that region for hydrogen, oxygen, carbon and helium. And after mass number 20, binding energy per nucleon is gradually increases, okay, and it is maximum for Fe56. After this iron or Fe56, the binding energy is decreases, and the average binding energy of that flat portion is 8.5 mega electron volt, and binding energy for uranium is 7.6 mega electron volt. Now here the heavier nuclei are unstable, so that the heavier nuclei are break into the fission fragment or lighter nuclei, okay, and the large amount of energy is released, and the process is a nuclear fission process. The lighter nuclei are also unstable, and therefore when the lighter nuclei are fused together, we get the heavier nuclei and the large amount of energy is released. So this is related to binding energy curve. Friends, in second lecture or in next lecture, we have to see what is the packing fraction. Packing fraction is a ratio of mass defect to the atomic mass or mass number. Thank you.